what's it? AEW Dynasty? I forgot.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Dynasty this week. Yeah, you said yeah.
Tomorrow. This is going to be on Saturday. It'll be on
AEW
Sunday evening.
$50. I thought it was. All their pay-per-views
should be
AEW $50.
It should be an amazing. On paper, it looks fantastic, and AEW really does do great pay-per-views. But you're right, Jess. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth paying $50 in this world, in this economy, paying for a pay-per-view.
Yeah, the product is soft as well. I mean, the pay-per-views are always good, but like the product's soft. You know, you're soft. They're having problems like filling the arenas and stuff. So like they're at a vulnerable state right now. I'm not saying give money away because he's obviously not making money, but at the same time, I don't know, like you discount your fucking pay-per-view since you're so stubborn you don't want to go to a streaming platform. And maybe that's in the works, but how long are you going to say? How many other special announcements are you going to give me about like a Sting t-shirt deal now? And Tony Khan leaves. Like, why don't you give me a fucking real announcement of like, we're going to have a streaming area where you can go get all of our old shit and blah, blah, blah. And
how about
like, you know,
don't waste $10 million on Monet and give us a goddamn streaming platform.
That's what I really wanted to talk about.
Streaming platform.
I want to talk about it too, about how fucking like she's
awesome
terrible.
she is.
I think when I think it's like there should be instead of CEO should be streaming. Start chanting.
You're right, Joe. I had a rant about streaming on AEW months ago, and I'll never stop talking about it. They need to stream.
Yeah,
it's
ridiculous.
Yeah,
she's the real CEO.
100%. But it's interesting because you guys know I have another thread that I talk about mostly AEW stuff because it's what they like to talk about. They're wrestling fans and they talk about AEW a lot. And the first thing was Monet's stuff sounds really forced. I'm like, and I just wrote, she's trash, bro. And they're like, come on, man, like she was good when she was Sasha Banks. I'm like, yeah, because she had the machine telling her what to do. And I feel really bad I feel a little bad for Monet and Sasha Banks because she left in the middle of a situation that she didn't like, and rightfully so, because Vince was just had his mitts on everything. You say it like this, you say it just like this. And she's like, no, I don't like this. And she bailed, which was good for her. But she never got to the point where she could take an independent place like this. It's not independent, you understand, but she never could take a place like this and do her own promo that makes sense. That's hers. That Tony Storm is doing. That everybody gravitates to it and hangs on every lit. And Sasha
she's just like
Banks
the female version of Miro.
Oh,
you know, like except she got more money.
That's a good comparison. Yeah,
you know, like,
and there's so many of them like that, Joe.
Like, halfway decent in the ring. I'm not saying like she's obviously extremely talented in the ring. Like she's put on some great matches or whatever. But she sucks. Her character sucks. Mic work sucks. And as we know, that is what 75% of wrestling is mic work and character, not what you do in the ring. And it's, you know, and like, so they need to start either working on that, turn her heel. I know that's been the topic of conversation.
Cuz is like she has to be turning heel, right? And I was like, at first I'm like, no, that's sad. But then as I hear her talk, I'm like, no, she's turning heel, right? Like the way she delivers stuff, I'm like, she's winking at us, right? Like either she's winking at us or she's worse than I thought, or which is worse for Tony being Khan, that she does not give a shit. And she just is there to collect a paycheck and she wants more time because she probably looked at WWE right now. They threw her an offer. There's no way they did not. But at the same time, she probably looked at it and says it's crowded right now. But, you know, Rhea was healthy at the time. We'll talk about that too. Rhea was healthy at the time. There's a lot. I mean, the women's division there is crammed. You have all this NXT talent waiting to come out. So I think she looked at that and said, I'm going to get lost in the mix. And, you know, like, and I think she said, I want more separation from me and then she could still play hokey pokey with
you have that
TKO she probably only signed a year. I don't remember unless you guys remember reading. I'm not sure how long she signed with the AEW for. I'm assuming that maybe she might have an out after 12 months. Like either side could agree, you know what, let's just cut bait and you know whatever. If it's not working out, I gotta think that in a year she'll be able to renegotiate and leave if she wants to. And then Triple H would be like, yeah, come on, like we'll debut you, you know, because all the story. Triple H is now being known in the industry for telling long stories. So you don't want to jump in right now because like he's already priming these characters for a long story arc. So she's probably waiting. But what makes me not like her even more is if she doesn't care, fuck her. Like, honestly, don't go there. And you can say what you want about Tony Khan. He's just a fanboy. He's ignorant. Maybe that's all true. Some of it is, and it's evident. But at the same time, like you have other people like Daniel Bryan, Adam Copeland, all those other people going there and busting their fucking ass because they love wrestling. They want to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
And if she's going to go there and just be the same, she's just Sasha, she just can't call herself Sasha, then you're missing the point. You're not in the place that supports the type of character that you were nurtured as in the WWE. You're in a different world. So fucking work and cut better promos and just turn heel if you're not comfortable. That everybody does it. So just do it. Like, but instead it's like she's awful. All over promos.
She still desperately needs the machine when she pushed away from the machine.
But
she clearly wasn't ready for her. You know,
she's also been put in the feud against Willow, who's hugely popular just because she's the woman that she got injured wrestling with. So that was a mismatch to begin with, because now we're still cheering Willow and she's completely unlikable. Monet doing that arrogant thing.
And yeah, so if you're comparing character versus character, Toni Storm's going to be cheered out of the building when she faces Monet, because Toni Storm is the most compelling women figure that they have because of her character.
Even though
and
she's
so established
by nature.
Yeah, and it's like, so it's like Monet should just go heel, have a little stable. She would be great as that, and I think that would salvage this. But if they're going to keep trying to force her down her throat as a face, you're going to get like her getting booed out of the building coming up really fast. And she never moved the needle as far as any kind of like ratings or attendance is concerned.
Nope.
Which I knew I was screaming like, God damn, why are you paying so much money for her? Like, why? Like, unless
I think she had like one of the lowest rated quarter hours last week. When
she's terrible. And like, yeah, it's just, and all she does is,
nobody cares.
Like, I just want to say, I won't be at Dynasty, but I'll be at the next pay-per-view. Like, that's what she says. Like, and I'm like, you're just literally shitting on Dynasty. I'm not wrestling there, but I'll be there and I'll wrestle the one after. She's going to be.
Wait, why isn't she So is she not ready? She can't? What's the deal?
I don't know. She said something about being cleared to wrestle, I think on her last promo. So maybe
she hasn't even had a match yet, right?
Yeah, she hasn't even had a match yet.
She's been doing promos and
she may not be cleared, but I would think if I was Tony Khan, I'd be like, you show me your doctor's note and then I'm going to hire you. Like, why would he think like, oh, she's not cleared yet, she'll be fine. Like, maybe she won't be fine, Tony. Maybe she'll be injured for 6 more months and then, if her contract's gone and then you're fucked. Like, what are you going to do now? Like, I hope he has a fucking plan. God, because we need an alternative wrestling product. We just fucking do. I don't care how good WWE is right now. It's fantastic. It cannot be the only one. It can't.
No,
we all agree with that. We all 100%. It's just, she's not moving any needle. She hasn't gotten any better. I honestly, breaking her ankle in Japan probably saved her from getting totally ousted from there and looking like a fool, because she clearly wasn't ready for that either. You saw her mic work. She couldn't even work with the feedback echo. In her first interview back, like her live, mic work, whatever you want to call it. She was hearing herself and was constantly interrupting herself and couldn't push through. I'm like, you can't do that. I know I can't do that. First of all,
if she was going to be a strong presence in the back, I think she's all for herself. I don't know her. I just feel like she's all for herself. I can't see her nurturing, because they need someone in the back that is going to inspire that women's division, because they don't really have a good one.
What is she gonna nurture? She needs help herself.
Not only is their audience smaller, not only is their audience smaller than WWE's, but more men watch AEW than the ratio of men versus women in WWE. WWE did such a good job over the last decade of building their women's, so there's probably more female WWE fans than ever, I would say, at this point. AEW, not so much. It's a blood and guts promotion. It's a Japanese style wrestling, strong style, whatever you want to call it. And mostly males seem to gravitate towards that. They're just trying to pull some of the spill-off female fan from WWE into their land, but they're doing nothing compelling. They're just trying to, we got, remember, she used to be Sasha. Remember? Here she is. Like, and then
Craig, I was waiting for Craig to say, when you said male, American male. I was waiting for American males to come in.
Love that song.
Yeah, before we go on and talk about WWE too, I'll run down the card here for this Sunday.
There you go.
AEW Dynasty. If you got $50 extra fucking laying around, because everybody does, go ahead and drop it down. They're gonna have 3 free matches that you could watch before you have to actually plunk money down.
No thanks.
You have a
plunk
for the
without hearing them. I'm like, no thanks.
for the Trios Championship, it's a title versus title. You have the Acclaim, which I don't know why Acclaim's not on. They're the most overact they fucking have, and I don't know why they're not on every fucking show. But then they're quarantined on Collision, and they're never on Dynamite, and it makes no fucking sense. Anyway, the Acclaimed with Badass Billy Gunn will defend the AEW Trios Championship against the Bullet Club Gold, Jay White and the Gunn brothers, which are their real life sons.
Poor Jay
Billy
White,
Gunn.
my God.
And
on the pre-show, Jay White, biggest name in New Japan.
They are. They are the.
Must have just been Monday.
Yeah, they're the Ring of Honor Trios champions. So whoever wins, they're going to unify the titles, and nobody will care about Trios championships because nobody does now.
That's a great match, though. I take back my comment if I don't care. I will watch it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good match. The next one is Matt Sydal, for Christ's sake. I haven't seen him in forever, but I know he's
70 years old. I always confuse him as with the one-legged wrestler.
He's 7. No,
and I don't know. In my head, I know it's I forget his name.
I was thinking
Brock Lesnar and
Zach something. Zach Gowen? No.
Zach
Gowen. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I always confuse Matt Sydal with Zach Gowen.
No, Sydal was like the original flyer. He was way before his time, way before the Cruiserweight Classic, way before that or whatever in WWE. He is taking on Trent Beretta. I mean, that's going to be a solid match, but I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's AEW's problem. I'm not opposed to you giving me a flashy match, and it's the preview. It's the free show, so I can't be too hard on it.
Yeah.
Then the last match is, wow, is this true? Orange Cassidy and Shibata versus, what is the name of this tag team? Shane Taylor Promotions?
I don't know. This is clearly trying to get people to buy the pay-per-view.
Yes, the best. That's right. Remember, Orange Cassidy was part of the Best Friends tag team, that group or whatever. One of the guys turned on him. That's right.
They turned on him. So, on Dynamite. Yes,
it's going to be a tag team match. So yeah, this is just supposed to hook you in or whatever. And Orange Cassidy's fun to watch. I know.
If you think this is good, only $49.95, you can get some shit.
And then we have the title versus title trios match on the pre-show. But then on the main show, we have another trios match for nothing. It's Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe against the House of Black, which actually should be a fucking really good match. I just wish that the House of Black was fucking featured more. Again, another team that's quarantined on Collision for no reason. Why are we doing this? Like, I don't get it.
If the whole point...
It should be on both shows.
If the whole point of separating everybody was to keep Punk away from everybody else, well, that problem is no longer there. So
that problem resolved itself.
I don't... Look, I know WWE has more experience at the brand split, but I don't mind them trying this. But you need a core 5 to 10 that are going to float back and forth. You need that. You have to have that. MJF, when he's healthy, both shows. Even if he's cutting a promo on, wrestling on the other, fine, whatever. Daniel Bryan, both shows. John Moxley, both shows. Do
you think that the draft is coming? There's no way Cody's not going on both shows every week. There's no way. There's no way.
He almost has to.
He has to.
It depends on it depends on what they do with the World Heavyweight Championship and Priest, but he has to. He's the most popular guy. And they'll do it just to do it because he'll cut a promo for no reason on Raw, just to be back there. If
he cuts a promo every week on Raw, even though he's technically, he said he's a SmackDown guy, but he's like, don't worry, I'm not. He even said I'm not going anywhere. He said that on Raw this week. Yeah, he'll be there every week cutting a promo.
The next match, I think this is going to shit the bed. It's Hook versus Chris Jericho. I think this is going to shit the bed. Or Chris Jericho's just going to let Hook suplex the bejesus out of him, and Chris Jericho is probably going to die in the ring, and we'll all salute him, and we'll say thank you for your service.
Jericho gave him a victory a few weeks back. I
don't know. I hated the segment on Dynamite this week with fucking Taz looking like a fucking chump. Like, he's in there. He's walking like he was in there doing the interview, and Chris Jericho pushed him down, and he pushed him. And it wasn't even a hard push, and Taz is all and just fell like a turtle and took forever to get up.
Well,
and then, it was ridiculous.
What are you gonna do?
And then and then Hook got in there, and he's like, Hook was awful. So, what was the question that Jericho asked him? Fuck. Oh yeah, he was like, Jericho's like, so what do you say? Do you want to come over the wise learning tree branches of Chris Jericho? And then okay, so Craig, I think that's when you texted God, Hook sucks, like on the mic or something like that, because he was terrible. Before Jericho even got done, he's all no.
I thought you guys were joking when you were texting.
No,
I'm like
Chris Jericho's all so. What do you Chris Jericho's all Chris Jericho-y, and he was like, oh so do you want to sit under the learning tree with the wise branches of Chris Jericho? And he's all no. That's exactly what he did. And I was like, you have no delivery at all. Like, you suck. Like,
no. like the answer to you eat pieces of shit for breakfast. And he goes, no,
but no, not even cool in the corner, just like hoodie, like he didn't want to be there. Like, no.
No.
I don't care. You're talking about
you're
Dad.
a learning tree.
Stupid.
Like a 10-year-old
shell.
Yeah, your brain has the shell on it. Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. But that might. After one match, that might be the opener. I'm not sure. Then we have. I'm excited for this, and I really hope that Kyle O'Reilly is back healthy It's fucking Roderick Strong defending the AEW International Championship against Kyle O'Reilly. This shit should pull the goddamn roof off the place. Like, if it doesn't, I'm going to be super disappointed. Because I know Roderick Strong is super healthy. O'Reilly was out with a serious injury for a long time, so I'm hoping that he's better.
But
and
O'Reilly came back. I forget the last when O'Reilly returned. He fought someone huge too, and he did great.
Collision.
Yeah,
he did it on Collision.
So
he's. Yeah, I hope so, and I hope Roderick could bring it out of him or whatever. They're gonna have a lot of story gaga with it and stuff too, but I hope it's good. On paper, I'm like, oh my god, like I can't believe it. Then we have Julia Hart defending the AEW TBS Championship against Willow Nightingale. The winner of this match will go on to face at the Dynasty the All In. Are they All In Vegas? I think All In is the next pay-per-view. All In's
what is that?
Now. Double or Nothing. Vegas is Double or Nothing. There we go. That's the next.
What is that? What is that?
It's the pay-per-view that they have in Vegas every year. AEW.
No, I know. When is it?
When? June or July? Let's see. What they say?
Yeah, it'll be June because August is All In.
No, May 26th. Right. It's going to be May 26th.
Yeah,
Sunday, May 26th.
I said it was May. Yep. That's what I said.
They're going to fill out Allegiant with that too? They're going to use the big stadium for that one? What are they going to do? I'm sorry. That's not nice.
No.
That's going to be the big test, right? Because Vegas has been their home, and that was the very first. This was their signature event that they sold out to show everyone that Cody and all them could fill a building with indie stars or whatever. So if they don't fucking fill this building, it's a bigger problem for them than I realized. Even I don't know how they're going to get even 50,000 fans in it All In, unless people are just like, oh, it's a fun trip, let's go to London or whatever. Like, so who knows? But
for back in Wembley, yeah.
They need, so on this pay-per-view, before I finish the card, Jack Perry should be re-debuting as like the scapegoat character that he's been flaunting around and in New Japan and all that stuff with.
Doing quite well for himself.
I hope they fucking know how to I don't trust them on how to nurture this heat and I don't know if Jack Perry's experienced enough to handle this kind of like, to know when to be stoic and know when to not say anything and know when to, and I just, fuck. I'm afraid they're fucking
when you're at home and Freddie Prinze Jr. is talking about you getting heat,
yeah,
come on.
A lot of people are, and they're like, this is the edgy that they need. MJF is supposed to come back anytime now. Like they're figuring that they're just going to spring him on us or whatever and get everyone excited. So if they could have Jack Perry kind of make a splash and then MJF come back, they got a good shot at having a really, really excellent house for Double or Nothing. I hope for them, but I think Willow and Julia Hart will be good. Julia Hart super improved. Willow, obviously, she's probably going to win and go on to face Mona at the next pay-per-view, which if you don't turn her heel, why would you want to split your crowd anyway? That's what, if Willow's a face and if Sasha's supposed to be a face, why split your fucking crowd?
They need to figure it out between now and then. Yeah, Sasha needs to do something drastic.
And then we have this fucking match. It's for the AEW. Don't ask me what the titles mean. The AEW Continental Championship. Okada is defending against Pac, and that's gonna be fucking phenomenal. That's gonna be crazy pants. I'm gonna not breathe a lot during this pay per view. I can already see it. The Young Bucks. I'm probably gonna pass out during this one. Young Bucks are gonna face FTR in their third match, just a rubber match.
Always good. Fucking always.
They're crazy.
Good.
They're insane. Like this match is gonna be fucking insane. And then we have Timeless Toni Storm defending her women's championship against Thunder Rosa. The storyline actually has been really good with this, and I hope Thunder Rosa's healthy. She's been subpar lately because of her injury. I hope she's better. And then we have Will Ospreay taking on Bryan Danielson, which I'm sure that again I'm going to lose consciousness and have to watch it later. And then the main event is Samoa Joe defending the AEW Heavyweight Championship against Swerve Strickland. I hope they pull the trigger on him, but I don't know. I don't think so. I think they could. Because I think when MJF comes back, he's going after Adam Cole. So you don't have to put MJF back in the title picture right away.
Whoever's got it, Ospreay's beating them in London. So
right, yes, and I love Samoa Joe. I love Samoa Joe, and I think that he's been great here. But I think he's an ultimate placeholder champion, and he's had it since December. Don't get me wrong; he's been wonderful. I love Samoa Joe.
He's done good.
I absolutely love him. Yeah, he's amazing, and I love him. But Swerve is fucking. Did you see what he did on Dynamite? For fuck's sake.
You can have Samoa and Ospreay and Wembley, and it'll be awesome.
So all the security came down to separate because Samoa Joe came out there and then Strickland came out there to confront him, and then a bunch of fucking security guards, I don't know, 8 of them, came out and they were between. Strickland was in the ring and then Samoa Joe was outside on the ramp and they were standing between them. Strickland gets on the fucking top rope, jumps off the top rope, lands as they're catching him with his feet and does like not the full splits, but splits his legs and throws them all to the side, and he lands on his fucking feet and rises up like a superhero. And the whole place is all, holy shit. And I was like, what
That's
the fuck?
awesome.
I've never seen that before in my life. Like, it was fucking amazing. Like, it was awesome. So he's fucking got it, man. Like, he's wonderful. He's awesome. And I think like they're hesitant to cheer him because I don't know if people think like, I don't know if they're gonna pull the trigger on him. I don't know. Like, so I really hope they do. If they don't, I get it as well, because like Craig said, Ospreay is going to beat whoever in England, so it doesn't really matter at this point. But I mean,
I think Ospreay and Swerve would be incredible.
Yeah, let him chase and let him go after Ospreay after. That's fine.
And or like Craig said,
the chase for
Ospreay
Swerve will continue.
Ospreay and Swerve will be amazing. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Let Joe get beat at Wembley, and then let Swerve.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I can see Joe passing the torch, like doing the deed for Ospreay as opposed to like kind of killing Swerve for a 3-month run.
Yeah,
like save him.
You're right. That doesn't help Swerve to get it in April and lose it in August. Yeah.
No, like
that won't happen. It shouldn't happen. They might do that, but it shouldn't.
But I think now you split it, right? Now you need tiers. You know, it's like MJF is going to come back and he's going to face Adam Cole. So you could have him chase Adam Cole for a while. And they could have 3 fucking matches. The first match will be crazy. They'll bleed on everyone. Then they could do stipulation matches for the rematch and another stipulation match for third. And it's just going to be a blood feud. That could carry you past the summer. If they do it right. If Cole is healthy, if Adam Cole's healthy. Then you have the world title picture. Then you have, whatever Daniel Bryan wants to do. Like, then you also have Okada like on there. So they have a chance right now to fucking layer this card and have very few garbage like in it. It's just
and Jay White's sitting on the pre-show and all this talent.
That's crazy. I don't know. I agree. I don't know. It makes me mad, but I get like when we romanticize about our childhood, we can name me wrestlers from the late 80s, and every single one of them is a bona fide Hall of Famer. Like Roddy Piper, Jake Roberts, Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase had to lose. Roberts lost. You know what I mean? It's like, I know we look at that now. We're like, what the fuck is
never held? Neither one of them held the title.
Why is Daniel Bryan losing? Why is this person losing? I'm like, Savage lost. Piper lost. Or no, Piper never did. That was a problem. But Orndorff lost. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was mid carders. Duggan lost. Like,
Austin was on the dark match after the 316 promo.
Yeah, like there's you can name the entire roster from when we grew up.
Everybody's got to pay the piper, man. Everybody's got to pay their dues.
So I get what you're saying, Dave, because I thought Jay White was going to be awesome, more awesomer than he is. But like, it's just kind of this is fucking faction world over here in AEW. There's too many goddamn factions.
Hard to keep track.
Yeah.
I think I don't know about Jay White and his contract, but sometimes you got to look at that money and go, okay, all that money less states, it has to be something to do with that. But it's clear to me that I don't think this is what he expected. I think he expected to be more in the mix. But they shoved him up there too quick. I mean, he was wrestling MJF at the Forum, right, when we went. So isn't that right? Yeah,
he was in the main event against MJF.
He hadn't been there that long, and it was just so fast. Like there was no build up to it. And then once MJF beat him, what was for Jay White to do at that point? Like there's nothing left.
And to your point, MJF was injured, fucking limped in from an ambulance, and still beat Jay White.
And still beat him.
It's like, all right, well,
Yeah, what would have been wrong with Jay White beating him maybe, and then MJF getting healthy or beating it back, and then pulling the trigger on Adam Cole with the heel turn? They didn't. There's so many things that they just do. Sometimes I think too quickly. The matches, I think, Joe, you agree with this too. The matches are never the issue. The matches are fantastic. Like that in-ring work of telling a story, a slow burn of a story of how that match is going to go is great. But the actual mic work and storylines is where they fall off. And that's where the casual will never come in. That plus, just to your point, it's bloody, gory.
Well, I don't think that
type of stuff.
I mean, I don't think that AEW is looking for. That's not their market. They're not looking for casuals. They're not looking for the 6-year-old fans. They're not. They're looking for. They're looking for they're looking for 18 to 50. You know, like,
I feel you. I feel you on that. Here's the issue,
and that are a little bit more like intense wrestling, because they're like the ones that that are going to go buy T-shirts and whatever. They're just,
but how does that?
They're not looking for casual fans to come in. They want to keep the hardcore fans happy.
I get that. I understand what you're saying, and the question, and CM Punk is asking the question too. We can get to that later if we want to, but how does that make any money, right? And it's rhetorical. We don't need to try to answer it. How does that make money? It doesn't right now. And I sent you guys a couple of things where you can see these casuals talking about WWE right now. And it was funny. He's like, this guy named Cody Rhodes won. So I knew he was a casual. That was like number one. This guy named Cody Rhodes won at WrestleMania. He's like, but you have to understand something. He's like, this storytelling is absolutely beautiful. It's so well done. Every match has a story leading up to it. And he explained this to two women that have never watched wrestling before. And they go, I want to watch WWE right now. This guy was just explaining. He's like, it's theater, it's athletic, it's sports, it's everything that you want in any kind of show, plus 10 times more of other stuff. And he explained it so well and so eloquently as a casual fan. They go, no one's ever explained wrestling like that to me before. I kind of want to watch now. These two girls had never seen it before, and that's the difference. I'm not saying like you have to give up everything, but you got to do something a little bit different. You got to tell a little bit of
You
a
also have to make
story.
it seem like don't
Yeah,
do
more
this
drama.
ultra violent stuff on Dynamite or Collision ever. Just put on good matches and do character work on the pay-per-views, especially if I'm going to plunk down $50. I want to watch Adam Page or Adam Page drink.
They
Sam's blood.
gotta,
it's fine. Like
they gotta
I wanna
meet.
see
They gotta
Moxley
meet. Yeah,
get
that was awesome.
Yeah,
I
I
want
wanna
to
see
see sort of
somebody drink
staple his own
somebody's
face
blood.
and laugh. Yeah,
right.
You know?
like that's what I want to see for
I mean,
$50 or
AEW is
whatever.
like they don't have
Right.
somebody central in charge of creative that is like the puppet
Right.
master. They don't have a puppet
Right.
master going, and it seems like storylines change from week to week. Like somebody's like sitting in a room and they're like, "I got a good idea."
That's
And they're like, "Do it. We're doing that tonight." Almost like what Vince was doing in like 2016, 2015 to 2000.
Good call. It's
Or to
really close.
2020.
Yeah, they give up on, and that's what CM Punk was saying too. I mean, I hate to say he's kind of right. I mean, I find myself defending CM Punk. It's just weird. But he's like they don't stick with something long enough for it to make any sense. The next week I want to do this because it's cool, and then they do it, and then it doesn't track from what they did last week, and
Or it
that's
doesn't
one of the
matter.
problems.
Like
Well,
the
you
thing
have
is,
a
or it
bunch of-
doesn't matter.
that
It's
too.
like they
The
do a
whole-
whole
the
thing. So what do you
whole-
guys want to do? I want to break the window of a car. Okay. I mean, what's that
Why?
have to do with your story? I don't know. It'd be cool if we just broke a window. And then they're like, but you okay? So right, the window. Now, what's that mean for your character? I don't know, dude. The fucking window broke. Huh? Like that's fucking what they do. And it's like, no, you can't.
Well, that's the problem with having a organization that's ran by and revolved around indie darlings is because
The talent.
all the indie darlings know how to do is get a pop in the moment
and sell
They
their
don't know how
merchandise
to-
at the table
and
after,
sell their
yeah.
merch that day. They
Yeah.
don't know how to
Yeah.
They don't know how to tell the story or to like
To
keep
lead
something
into next
going for
week.
6 months because that's just too far down the road. All they care about is what is happening right now in this
Right.
moment.
And Joe, by
What
the way,
spot am I in?
another thing
that's
CM
just
Punk said,
problematic.
if you're in the indies too, to your point, Joe, that's perfect. Because
Yeah.
CM Punk go, well, do they know you? It's like, well, how did you do on the book today? Oh, we sold it out. Well, then you did your job. If that's the indie thing and that's what you did and you sold out the place, even if it was 500 seats, 1,000 seats, he's like, you did something crazy and wild, and they'll come back in 6 months when you're back around again to see the next crazy shit you'll do, and they don't have to follow anything. You've done your job. But now, to your point, Joe, this isn't the indies anymore, right? This is a weekly televised show with 4 shows that has no relative storyline that any casual or even any hardcore fan can even follow. And it is different, but they're still sticking to their indie guns, and that's the biggest problem. I don't think you have to make it all bubblegummy and get the 4-year-olds. I think you're right, Joe. I think you just got to stay consistent with something.
It's all
Because they obviously have a
consistency,
lot of
and it's
talent. Every
comprehensive
single-
storylines. It's a beginning, middle, ending. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like it's always
Every
been.
single match on the card is like on every pay-per-view is 4 stars or higher. Every single
my
one.
God,
They're
yeah.
all
Yeah, they're so
fantastic. They're
good.
amazing matches. They're all like
Yeah.
match of the year caliber stuff going
Yeah.
on. But
100%.
if I'm not invested in like a little, I don't necessarily need a lot of story. I don't need 2 years
True.
worth of Cody and Roman, which was though that's spectacular and awesome.
right,
But-
right.
Your base wants a little bit. They don't want bubblegum
Yeah.
stuff, and they don't want a full soap opera, but they want a little bit of story to kind of keep them hooked.
And AEW, when they do their PLEs, they will not do any packages between the matches. They just go match to match to match to match.
yeah.
So any casuals that you bring along for the ride or whatever. And I think there's a balance. I think WWE does way too much, but I think
Agreed.
AEW should do a little bit of selling.
I told you
Self-advertising.
with
In the-
when I saw Revolution last year, the matches happened so fast that I didn't even have time to go take a piss.
Yep.
Right.
Like I didn't know when to go because one match ends, like 90 seconds later, the next match is beginning.
They weren't playing around. Yeah.
I'm like, I appreciate that, but I'm like, I need to take a piss and I need to get a beer.
There's two things that can help that. One, you can do a little bit of promo work, and two, how many people are wrestling twice when you count pre-show and regular card? At least 2 or 3 people are wrestling twice. Don't do that. And by the way, if they haven't earned the pay-per-view, don't put them on there. Don't put them on there. They have way too many matches. I know they're all going to be bangers. I get it, but you got to shorten that card up, man. It's too much. It's like WrestleMania Sunday when there was only one day sometimes, and you can't have 12 matches on a card. You just can't do that.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be rude, but when these 4 people are going to see WrestleMania, they're getting tall boys for each other every 2 matches. So we need time. To double fist tall boy. That's 8 tall boys every 2 matches with a whole bunch of aluminum in the seats.
Right. It just got me tired. So segueing into, you talk about the production and stuff. This whole, actually, I'll do this Meltzer thing first. So Meltzer on one of his shows today or this week said basically look, like a lot of people label me as this and that and the other or whatever. And he's like, I don't like to, tell, out of school or whatever, but he's like,
I don't like labels. How about
Punk doing all this stuff or whatever and saying all this stuff. He was like, Punk, when he first went to AEW, called Dave Meltzer and said, can you explain ratings to me? I've never really learned how they parlay or whatever, but he said that before. He's like, it's funny, Bischoff hates me now, but Bischoff sure knew my phone number whenever he really needed dirt sheet like backing for WCW, before the NWO and all that stuff. He's like, they all knew my name and number and they all talked to me all the time. And he's like, and then the second they all got big, they're like, Dave Meltzer, because I wrote one bad thing.
You're telling me CM Punk
didn't. I 100% believe it.
Yeah. You telling me CM Punk didn't understand ratings back in 2014, 2015? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know if he did. I think Punk likes to fucking, what am I doing today? Who am I wrestling? And then he always was about himself. I think he was trying to probably know a little bit more to help Con out and help AEW out. And it was just, so he was like, he called me all the fucking time. And he goes, and he's all, I wrote in my newsletter, I knew who told me about the Colt Cabana thing. So when Punk did the whole, media scrum where he fucking, I'm old, I'm tired, and did that whole thing or whatever, he was shitting on the Young Bucks because he's like, you have 2 fucking EVPs around here that couldn't manage target, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's like, I told him flat out it wasn't the Young Bucks who told me. They never told me anything about Colt Cabana. It wasn't the Young Bucks. He's like, he knew that, but he just was pissed already anyway. And Dave's like, I should have reached out and called him personally, but I didn't. I just wrote about it in that week's thing because I know Punk reads it. And I just said, the Young Bucks did not tell me that privileged information. It wasn't them. And then Punk still went out and did his own thing. And that's Punk's problem as well. He's a hothead, and he gets pissed off. And once he gets pissed off, he just says what he wants to say.
He said all of that, yeah.
So it's like his whole funny thing. I was like, it's hilarious. It still lives on. The whole Punk thing and the AEW thing, it lives on forever. But yeah, it's just, I find it funny because it just brought up that point where he said that about multiple people. He's like, Vince, even back in the day, fucking called me all the time. Like, these people act like they're so fuck dirt sheets and all that. There's a picture. I don't know if it was right before Bruce got hired back by WWE or whatever. Bruce fucking cut scathing promos on Dave Meltzer all the time on his podcast. There's a picture of them during one of the, how Conrad used to travel with their shows. They do the live events or whatever of fucking Meltzer and Pritchard hugging. Of course they are. It's all bullshit on the Bischoff end and the Pritchard end. Yep. I'm not saying Meltzer's squeaky clean. I get why he annoys people, and you don't have to like his opinion. I don't like everything he says or does. And he can't put a fucking sentence together, that's for sure. But at the same time, he's been a wrestling historian for fucking 40 years now. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. This guy writes obituaries for people when they pass away, and they're like pieces of art. Like, he really loves the industry. And I know when he talks, it doesn't, that does not come across as passionate and someone you want to befriend. But at the same time, I think he's got a little bit of Asperger's. I don't know this for certain, but you know what I mean? There's something that drives him to be so meticulous and so, I mean, he consumes hours upon hours upon hours of MMA and wrestling every single fucking week. And he loves both of them. And he writes passionately about both of them. So you don't have to like him. He's very informative though. He's like Jim Cornette. You don't have to like Jim Cornette, but Jim Cornette is such a historian. He writes everything down. When he did those shoot interviews, back in the day, what was the RF video? He brought his books when he was like one of the road agents, and he had every attendance for every house show, everything. It was awesome. Right. He's like, oh, that night Poughkeepsie, let's see, we were set up for 10,000, we got 3,500. He knew right away. Our gate was, 25,000, whatever it was. He knew everything, and it's pretty amazing. You don't have to like their opinions. They're animated and all that stuff, but you just enjoy it. Like, take all the information where you can. Like, just find you can. It's easy to find the facts. It's easy to listen to Dave Meltzer and be like, that's his opinion versus that's something that he got from an arena for box office or whatever. Like, it's real easy, like, to figure
he's
it
never
out.
Been, he's never been swayed on the facts of the numbers.
Yeah, you just don't have to like his opinion, that's for sure, because he loves Japanese wrestling. He loves, that kind of style. So he'll always be that way.
He hates WWE, so
he fucking hates WWE. He's always hated it. But I mean, at least now they're coming around and they're like, just some of the shit that they're doing. Alvarez is like, there's nothing bad I see on WWE programming, and they're praising their shots. Their production is so much fucking better, so much better. It's the Raw setup is just so fucking awesome. And I don't know if I was watching a shoot interview or something like that. I consume so. I'm like Jess Meltzer. I consume so much. Like, I just, because we always get like shit on our feed or we share shit, and like it's like I don't remember, but it's like the way they focused on the audience purposely more now on Raw. They made it black in the back with the red, and they don't do the color lights anymore. And like, I mean, that also helps when you sell out buildings. You could fucking do whatever you want. You always want to show off the crowd. But when they stop selling out, it'll change. It'll probably be all lit up and everything like it used to be. But I mean, like, it's so amazing what they've done, like, just with the look of Raw. And it's just black and red, and that's it. And they make the crowd deep. It looks so deep. Like, the way, I don't know, the way they shoot it now is just so amazing. And those continuous scenes where someone leaves the ring,
bigger than they are.
Yeah, someone leaves the ring, and the same camera follows them to the back, and then they run into someone else in the hallway, and then the camera
follow them back to the ring
and follows that person out.
One straight shot, man.
It's amazing.
Goodfellas, like, bro, all day. Come on.
It's so good. So I'm gonna go get the papers. Johnny two-time or whatever.
Jay Uso pushed a fan out the way because the fan tried to get in front of him to do a selfie.
Yeah, so funny.
It was so fucking funny.
Get through the lobby.
He had to go. Well, he had to go hit the spot on time, man. He said, "Get out of my way." I'm like, doing something. Yeah.
So funny.
I felt bad for that fan for half a second. Then
and speaking on them, I know Craig,
bitch,
you want to keep
get out the way.
Rhea Ripley had to forfeit her women's championship because
I thought that was a joke. I thought that was like
awful.
I thought I
guess it stemmed from the.
Like, so mad.
I thought that when fucking Liv threw the fucking chair at her, I was like, that's fucking risky. Like, because that was an uncontrolled chair shot. But obviously Rhea knew it was coming. But I thought, like, fuck, she might have hurt herself on that. But I guess when they were fighting in the hallway, her shoulder jammed into the wall, and like
she threw herself into the wall because Liv's not gonna be able to throw her into the wall. So Rhea was selling it. I think she threw herself just too hard into the wall. Honestly,
yeah. So it ends up becoming. They must know that it's going to be like a long rehab and a long process because they wouldn't.
Some kind of hyper elbow strain, sprain, but it's going to take forever to heal. Yeah, it's not broken,
crazy. So. But you know what, though? I think Alvarez is the one who said it best. He's like, dude, first of all, he's like, now obviously Liv is a heel because she was making fun of her. And when Rhea comes back, she's going to be the most over babyface in the company when she comes back.
Oh, big time.
And then they could have that dynamic of, is she going to split from Judgment Day because she's so over and so popular? Like, she's going to be her own thing now. So they're like, in a weird way, this is the best thing to happen because instead of trying to push Liv as the face and her as the heel, they don't have to try to force her to be a heel now.
I kept feeling they were trying to split her anyway. Like she would be on her own.
Everybody cheers her anyway. She's
right.
She
doesn't need them just crazy. Like
sure.
they would walk down to the ring. She gets cheered uncontrollably, and then the second Dom gets the mic, it's utter booze. It was this awesome like dichotomy.
Yeah,
this awesome juxtaposition of what was going on.
Yeah. I thought. I mean, it was very touching how they all hugged in the Raw segment. All of Judgment Day when she had to put it down, but I was like, at the same time, like, why did they should have just started the separation then and there? They could have hugged without camera work, I guess, is my thing.
I think if you ask any of them, they wouldn't want to split up. They're like close on the road and close in real life. They don't,
yeah. There was one funny one.
But do you have a little problem with that stuff? Like,
what?
I like real life coming in sometimes because sometimes that gets like a character like Cody. You kind of want him see him be emotional and kind of be real a little bit. But I don't want a heel faction hugging because you sympathize with them. Like you're like, oh,
right.
They're just so
well,
sweet.
They're kind of
it's like
they're kind of over. That's the problem.
They're over anyway, I guess. But like Priest is supposed to be a heel. Dom, I mean, there's a fucking heel. It doesn't no matter what he does. But yeah, like and even Finn and all that stuff. It's like
I had a
but I guess they're blurring the lines. Maybe there is no such thing anymore. Like as a face.
Yeah.
Because I think we're booing Dom almost as like as a joke because I think we all kind of like Dom too.
I remember when The Rock first started to get over, we saw a house show at the Pond, and when you heard "If you smell," the entire place fucking erupted. The second he came out, we all fucking started booing, and like because we knew he was going to insult us, he was going to run us down, and sure, he made some jokes about shit in Anaheim being similar, And like, and if people were booing him and laughing the whole time, and I was like, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Like when you get someone over, we all knew when his music hit, we're like, fuck yes, The Rock comes out. Oh fuck, boo, boo. It's like Kurt Angle, because we knew Kurt Angle would go nuts every time he got booed. And Kurt Angle,
or
the classic,
the "you suck" chants. Yeah,
he hated it, and we loved it.
There was on one of Bruce's podcasts, he was talking about The Rock and how they were trying to get him heel, and he would just go out and like say the most heel stuff you could say to a crowd. And they were like, what more can we do? Like, he's basically telling all the audience to fuck off and like spitting on little kids and like pissing on old ladies. And people are still like, yeah! He's like, it's like he's feeding them, he's giving them all this shit, but it's shit ice cream and they love it.
Especially the heel rock. The heel rock now is ridiculous. Like, it's just, he's so fucking funny, but he's so brutal. But at the same time, like, he's just passing up a storm and being hilarious. And I'm like, how do you boo this guy? Like, he's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Speaking of awesome. blurring the lines, just did you guys catch? I think I shared it when Bruce and Triple H gave the watch to Cody. And to be specific, it was the watch that Dusty Sr. had to pawn so Cody and his sister could go to acting school, from what I understand. They went and tracked that watch down and gave it back to him after WrestleMania, and he won the title, and he was in tears. It was pretty.
I got a little question about amazing. That. When did Dusty not have any money? Like,
I guess there was a point when he went to ECW. I guess, I don't know, because he had 3 kids, and so
Heyman says it too.
Heyman brought him over as a favor. Legitimately, that happened.
He was in charge of like booking, and like he was a talent and a booker for so long. Like, how do you run out of money? I mean, I guess he was poor with money like Flair was.
And I don't even know about
they were just
poor with
partying all the time.
I mean, Flair was poor with money. But I mean, I don't know about being poor with money. Like, I mean, his family was expensive. Like, it is now to have a family. But, and then on top of that, they had no medical. They had nothing. Like, they paid for all their car fare, their fucking hotels. And maybe as a booker, maybe Dusty got a little perk from Crockett, I'm sure. But I mean, it's like that. I think it's easy for them to lose a lot of that money. Especially when they start...
I don't like, even in all through the 80s, there's no way he wasn't making at least $200,000 a year in the 80s. Because if Flair was making $500K or $1 million or whatever, he would have $20,000 nights or whatever. I think he was saying. So Dusty,
he was spending it though.
So he must have lost a bunch in bad investments or something.
There you go. Bad investments. That's a good point.
Yeah.
What's your business plan, baby?
Flair doesn't regret anything he's invested in himself every night. So Flair's like, I'm the best investment I've ever done. Like, Flair just...
Well, I tried to forward you all. I got the Ric Flair Viagra ad on Instagram, and I couldn't forward the ad to our Instagram chain, but I saw it, and it was his finger, and it was a good minute long. Yeah.
Well, even there was an article, or I was reading some blog about it, and they're like, oh, Flair, obviously he like ran out of money, and he lost all his money, and he should have been better with it, and what a waste. He wasted all his money. It's like, did he really waste it though? Like, I'm sure that guy has lived like probably a pretty amazing lifestyle for like
probably lived like 5 lifetimes, Joe.
The fact that motherfucker's in his late 70s now, he should be dead. He almost died. Like, I don't.
He probably counted on it. He's like, why am I still here?
He woke up paying $2,000 bar tabs every night for people.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I feel like Flair's is like
credit card got declined in the UK. Fucking, when he tells the story, he tells it like you and I would just like, we ran into a friend at the store. I went to the store, I did this, and the damnedest thing happened. I ran into Joe, and we talked and we reminisced, and then we left. Flair's like, we go to England. I put my credit card down. I tell everyone in the bar, drinks are on me. And then the next morning he gets a call, and the bar is calling him, going, Mr. Flair, we're trying to get you. Your card declined last night, and he had to call Vince. Like, while he's all hungover and shit, he's like, can you pay by bar tab? And he's like, how much? And it was like $28,000 that he rang up on the fucking bar. So Vince's like, fuck, pay the fucking tab. So Vince had to pay it because, like, they weren't going to let Flair go. They were going to fucking like hold his shit. Like, so yeah, it was like, so Vince's like, fucking pay the fucking tab. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? He just gets drunk and like, everybody in my Amex, and throws it out there, and fucking 28 grand later, bounce.
What a tool.
Best ever. And he just tells it like, he's like, and he giggles like when he's talking about it.
I love how you're like, how did Dustin have any money? But my question was, how did you track that watch down? I want to know the story of like how you tracked there's got to be a documentary on this soon. Like, who do you get? Who's like the watch tracker guy or gal that just goes?
And how does it stay registered to float? You know what I mean? So maybe it's a super valuable watch, and
well,
it's a classic, right?
It can't be the exact same watch. I mean, same model, same.
Yeah.
Well, they're serialized, right? They're serialized, so if it, I don't know. Good question.
And
Maybe
I
it's
guess
a replica?
if he pawned it enough to give both him and son and daughter like acting lessons, and that's not cheap, right? The headshots and
I mean,
all that other stuff.
it had to be a Rolex of some sort, I'm sure, right?
It was definitely a Rolex.
$30,000 Rolex.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Dusty, hell of a man.
Jeez, for fucking watch.
He would do car commercials at the dealership to keep his car. Like Cody had told stories like that. It was crazy.
Well, if you watch
because he was a local celebrity,
point,
so he'd be like, baby.
At some point, Dusty started wearing like fur coats and shit, you know, and you're like, he's like,
that's what I'm saying.
Coats.
He spent the money.
Mink coat.
Because it really was 20 G's. He probably spent it. Yeah, 100%.
And Sapphire stole a lot of his money.
It's true.
I was like, that's why
that's why he was looking for her.
I mean, DiBiase tried to warn us.
Yeah,
like, she's got my money.
DiBiase tried to warn us.
We're all still looking for
man.
Yeah. Took the money.
We're all still looking. Are we all still looking for Sapphire, Craig? We're all still looking.
We're all still looking for her.
But it's it's fantastic. Wrestling is fantastic, fucking fantastic. Now I could actually watch all of.
Love it.
I think this is. I think you saw that. I think this is a good spot to leave it, man. That's good.
People in my house right now. I'm being vandalized right now.
Yep.
By 7-year-olds.
Yep.
But yeah, so we got.
Hey,
I hope pay per view is good. Please, oh my God, please get your stuff together, Tony.
Hey, Craig, where are we gonna see everybody at, buddy?
At the matches.
And we'll see you at the matches.